Finally got a day without rain, at least so far, and been doing some weed eating out here and just trying to get caught up. Whew, it's already 89 degrees, but that is not what this video is about. This video is about something that I've been working on for a couple weeks, just in my spare time, and I want to share with you. If you're one of my 5 faithful subscribers, you may have heard me talk about prepping for your neighbors, prepping for other people that possibly aren't aware of prepping, don't think they need to be prepping. And I know there's a lot of talk in the prepping community about, preserving what you've got and protecting what you've got from others. But I know that you can't make do in a SHTF situation by yourself. You've got to have a community. So I prep for my neighbors. And some of you have seen my videos on prepping for a fire team, and I think I've probably got enough to man a small squad now, if God forbid we ever needed to do such a thing to defend our communities. But this is something a little bit different. This is prepping for others as a giveaway. If, like I said, God forbid, an SHTF situation comes to pass and people are really down on their luck, and folks are traveling, looking for food and looking for sustenance, this is a bucket that I've put together that I can give away to somebody. If a family comes up to my gate, a mom, dad, and some kids, this is something that I can give them so that I don't turn away somebody in need. Now, can I do that for everybody that comes? No. But I'm building these buckets as I have time and resources. And, if that never happens, I can use them eventually myself, just like my other prep food buckets. But this is something that's built more in mind of giving to someone else. And maybe this would be a neighbor on the fringe of my community that maybe not, in my small community, because in a SHTF situation, I foresee, tearing down the fences between houses and building a kind of community that you would share back and forth, and you wouldn't have to just build a bucket for them. That there would be community meals and stuff like that. But this is something to give to somebody so that they can take it and go. So I'm going to take you through it and show you what I got, and I really solicit your opinions on this. Not so much the theory of it, but if you were building a bucket like this, a giveaway bucket, what would you put in it? All right. So first off, I'm using a 5-gallon bucket from Lowe's. You can get yours from anywhere. And I've got these leak-tight bucket companion screw top lids. I also bought this from Lowe's. I think they're about $6-7. Hard to find. Sometimes they have them, sometimes they don't. Whenever they do have some, I buy them up because, like I said, they're hard to find sometimes. But if you've never seen them, they fit over the bucket itself just like a lid would, real secure, and then they have this screw top lid, and it just makes it easy to use. Now the bucket, I foresee this bucket can be used for a toilet, okay, and I've put stuff in here that it could be used that way. If somebody's camping near my property and maybe I don't have the ability to make them leave, or maybe I don't want to force them to leave, it would definitely be in my best interest that they either bury their human refuse, however you want to say it, their night soil, rather than just be crapping on the ground. So with that in mind, I've included some garbage bags. They're just the small garbage bags like you'd see, in a small garbage can. And you could use this for a impromptu toilet if you had to do so. Now also, I've included some KLEENEX. You say, well, why didn't you include toilet paper? Well, toilet paper tends to smash, and I'm not sure if it's smashed over a long period of time how well it would unroll after that. So I was thinking KLEENEX, in an SHTF situation, it's not going to bother you that it's not quite as soft as maybe Charmin. But KLEENEX can kind of run the gamut between kind of paper towel and toilet paper. So I've just, and it's in a box that can't really smash as well. So I included a cheap box of KLEENEX. Also, kind of in the hygiene arena, I've included some Dawn dishwashing soap, because we want these people to be clean. We want these folks to not get disease. We don't want that to happen, both for them and for our own sake. Then I've included a small thing of portable aqua so that they can purify their water. I didn't include any cans or any pots or pans or anything like that, drinking containers, because I've been in a situation after hurricanes. After a hurricane or a tornado, there's pots and pans everywhere. You can pick your choice. Just pick them up off the ground. In an SHTF situation, there's going to be empty houses. There's going to be more pots and pans than people need, because in an SHTF situation, you'll probably be cooking on a couple pots or pans, and that'll be it. All these custom pots and pans, all these different sizes, no, we won't be doing that. You'll have one or two. Matter of fact, if you reach back to the 1700s, very often there was a pot kept on the fire with some sort of soup or stew, and that was just kept continually going and adding stuff to it. So, you know, there'll be more than enough pots and pans. I'm not really concerned about that. But I've given them the way to clean that pot or that pan so that they can cook cleanly. Then I've included some salt. Salt's important. You know, in an SHTF situation, we're going to be sweating a lot, and you need to replenish salt. Salt's important so that food tastes better. It's just a good thing to have. Pepper and all that other stuff, yeah, that's great, but that's a luxury. Salt, I don't really think is a luxury. You go back and look at history, very often communities were built around or built in the area where a salt lick was, because salt is very, very important. Then I've included some cooking oil, and my research shows me that coconut oil is one of the longest lasting of the easy to find cooking oils, and I've contained it as best I can. If you have watched my video on this grip tape, and so it's going in this dark bucket here. It'll be kept in a cool, dark place, and hopefully we'll get 2-3 years out of it before I have to start changing some of this stuff out. But cooking oil is important. All this stuff in here that we're going to look at, you got to cook, and you need oil. You know, you can't just, you know, cook stuff without oil. You've got to have something to cook it in. Then just a small jar of peanut butter, you know, some fast calories. And the only canned products I have is a couple of cans of chicken. Chicken and tuna would be good things to put in here. I think canned red meats probably would not. I steer away from wanting to put a lot of cans in here because they're heavy, but I thought I'd put some protein, some animal protein in there, and so I did that. And then I've got some coffee. You know, most of this stuff is just necessities. I consider coffee a necessity. I think it's something you don't have to have, but man, it would just make things better. So I think an instant coffee is not a bad idea. And then going inside the bucket, I have a combination of rice and beans. And what I've done here is this is how I do this, in case you've never done this. I'll buy these rice or beans, and I'll take them and I'll throw them in my freezer for at least 2-3 days. That way, if there's any kind of bugs in there, and yes, there can be bugs in your store-bought, right off the shelf foods. So after I get it out of the freezer, I put it in these airtight containers, these food sealers, and I've done this with beans and rice, and I'll show you a list of what I've got in here and how much. And that's really the main food. You've got a lot of food here. I got 3 pounds of rice. I've got almost 5 pounds of beans, and you could feed a family for a little while on that. This whole package here didn't cost much money. It's not going to take up much room, but God forbid, in an SHTF situation, I would love to have this to be able to give to someone and say, you know, go, you know, do your best, you know, God bless you. If that doesn't come to pass, there's nothing here I can't use. And what I'll be doing is putting a date on this thing, and in 2 years, And I have every reason to believe that in 2 years everything will be fine. In 2 years I'll pull this stuff out and start using it. And then maybe I'll make another bucket to replace it. But anyway, that is my giveaway food bucket for SHTF. And I really solicit your opinions. What am I missing out on? What would you suggest? And what do you think about it? Hey, thanks for watching.